Talk, talk to me. WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Track Talk, your connection coast to coast and beyond in all the latest news, developments, stake race analysis, and interviews inside the world of thoroughbred horse racing. From California to New York, Florida, and Kentucky, we have you covered. It's post time, live from San Diego. It's Track Talk.
And we welcome you from a sunny San Diego, America's finest city. I want to fix my hat here. Looking good. Wade Taylor producing and directing from our WS Radio studios. And welcome to another edition of Track Talk. Our special guest is Aron Wellman, the president of Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners. And he has a horse racing partnership since 2012 that he has developed to become the Cadillac. I guess we call it the Cadillac of horse racing partnerships because he's worked it from the ground up with some great people. He's joining us on Track Talk. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Felix. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, 2012, does it seem like a long time ago when you had this vision of putting partners together to purchase race horses, and you have generated a lot of excitement and interest and a great group and a list of partners who believed in your concept. And does it seem like 8 years?
Well, by the look of this graying beard and underneath this hat, some gray hair, I think I was a lot less gray 8 years ago. But no, it doesn't. I'm so blessed to do what I love to do. Of course, when it comes to business and relying on that business to, put food on the table and a roof over your family's head, it's pressure. But at the same time, we're just so fortunate to have created Eclipse and have so many wonderful partners that have put their faith in our program, into the horses that we buy, and hopefully we can just continue to deliver good results for them and the horses keep cooperating.
You might be described as a track baby. Your mother and father were distinguished breeders in the state of California. They got you involved. I want to get to that a little bit later on. But I want to talk about Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners and what you have built. You have built a nice group of partners that believe in your concept. And you work with some of the greatest in the game. You're an attorney, but you worked several years as a vice president for Team Valor, Barry Irwin, and one of our favorites on this radio show. I keep on sharing with people that every time I've reached out to this gentleman, he's always been so kind, and that is the trainer of Animal Kingdom, your pal, Graham Motion. So you work with good people. You saw how the industry was all moving. Now, let's be honest. The industry model has destructed and it's been turned upside down. So you have to rethink, and with the situation that's happening right now, you have to rethink almost on a minute-to-minute basis of how you're going to advance and move forward. But there's a lot of good that you've done with Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, and just with the horses that you've acquired and the great fellowship and the respect and the integrity that you pride yourself on, and that is your motto of Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, if I might add, that that's really important for you to distribute among the people that you come in contact with. In doing so, the horses, it must be a very, very extreme high to get involved in negotiating with some high-priced horses as your partnership group does.
No doubt about it. We try our best to participate, not just participate, but compete and win at the highest level. So when you're trying to do that, the stakes are high. And, we are a partnership company. So while every horse that Eclipse acquires, we put our own butts on the line to sign that ticket or to buy that horse privately, because we don't form partnerships ahead of acquiring the horse. So every horse we buy, we literally have to be willing to accept 100% ownership in ourselves. And while we do retain an equity interest in every horse that Eclipse owns, we're spending other people's money. At the end of the day, we turn around, we offer these partnership opportunities to our base of clientele, and they're the ones that are putting up their hard-earned dollars. So we take that responsibility very seriously. We know that we're treating every penny that's given to us as though it's our own. And, I just feel so lucky to be participating and winning at this level. But if it weren't for our partners who really believed in the Eclipse program and put faith in our abilities to lead them to the promised land, we wouldn't be at these sales buying these, good horses, and we wouldn't be trying to pursue private purchases all across the world either. So the credit really goes to them, and we just hope that we can continue to perform for our well-deserving partners.
How many horses do you have under your umbrella?
Right now we have 70 racehorses. That would probably include about 15 two-year-olds who obviously are not of age yet to run, but hopefully will be in coming months. And then we've got about a dozen broodmares. We've created a very select boutique broodmare band that, as our stable has evolved and our partners have gotten an appetite to become a little bit more sophisticated and get a little different flavor other than just the racing, we've really gotten some people tied on to the breeding side of things, which has been fun, and hopefully we'll have some runners here in the next few years. So about 85 in total. And if we're doing our job right, Felix, every November through January, we're going to have a number of fillies that are either coming off the racetrack or have been retired previously and were in foal that will go through the auction ring and be sold at the November and January breeding sales. That's a good way for us to liquidate assets that we've created for our partners, put some money back into their pockets, minimize their numbers, because as you know, these are very expensive animals to upkeep, and hopefully they'll be able to replenish their stock without having to dip into their pocket every time they see an Eclipse partnership opportunity that's appealing to them. So, our cycle is usually we try to liquidate and trim our numbers down November through January in the first quarter of each year. And then, as right now, the two-year-old and training sales are kicking into gear. So March through, call it October, is really our racing and buying season, where we try to draft the best prospects to our team as we can.
Just amazing. And when you talk about it, you say that you take your investors' money, but you're diligently working on a number of different fronts. You have to be ahead of the game. It's just like an athletic director or a recruiter or an assistant basketball coach looking for that next star player, that blue chipper. You call it a blue sky, I'll call it a blue chipper. So you're out there doing the work. You have teams of professionals that go to these sales that are going to give you their analysis in regard to what they think, and then you have to make the final decision. But with the stock market being where it is and the situation of the country being where it is right now, I think that when you deal in horse flesh, that it doesn't seem like buying horses is slowed down. It sort of gets swept underneath the rug. But the purchases of some of the foreign money buying these race horses have gone into the millions and the millions of dollars. And so right now, I think it's a value buy to look in where that there might be some bargains. I'll just put it out there. I'll put a word out there to bargains, because with the state of the conditions, some people might get out of the sport. They might not be able to afford it any longer, whatever their financial situation might be, but there's some opportunities there. Now, you put a partnership together called Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, where you bring in partners and you subsidize exactly the total overall cost of what it's going to take to get this equine to the track and hopefully win grade ones. And so when you have those types of opportunities and you have people coming in, and just for sake of argument, if they $200,000, they're a partner in there where that the horse costs $600,000. So you have two other partners, whatever the case might be. Instead of taking that full risk of $600,000, they could join Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners and have a percentage of it, where in the turnaround is that you're running the whole situation. This could be a CEO of a major Fortune 500 company that has the discretionary dollars that he wants to get involved in horse racing. His family, his wife is from Kentucky. She grew up in the bluegrass and she loves horses and she wants, a great horse. And so they're willing to go ahead and invest into buying that. They don't have to come up with the whole $600,000. They can have a percentage of it, but you do all the work. You take care of all the bills, all the workouts, what have you. And I don't think they have to put a lot of effort into it. And that's a tribute to your mission statement of passion, integrity, and excellence. And that's what you have done with Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners. And so you have to feel pretty good that there's some opportunities coming up.
Wow, that was I appreciate that. Thank you. You've done your homework.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. That's
that's
what we do. That's what we do here at WS Radio. That's in the Track Talk. My genius guru, Wade Taylor, who runs like the assistant programming, the videotape, the slow motion. He does it all. He's like the octopus. He can put it all together, and there's nobody better. And we do our homework, but I know that there's been a lot of audibles called right now. We talked about your big horse, Independence Hall, running in the Florida Derby, but I want to talk about, how we can keep this sport alive because, it's a great sport. We've seen the ups and downs, like you mentioned on a former broadcast that you were on with us, Aron Wellman, president of Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, that we have taken hits, and we have taken some major hits in thoroughbred horse racing. But is it ironic that we're the only game standing, and NBC is going to be carrying TVG programming this weekend? So out of all the sports, the one that they said, well, it's dying. Well, there's no baseball, there's no basketball, there's no golf, there's no Kentucky Derby, but there is racing this weekend, and it's a big opportunity. But building that trust, that's the most important thing, because let's face it, you're asking these people who are quite successful in their own walk of life and what their vocations were, and they have big money. Let's face it, there's people that have big money that will, they will invest in horses. If they have the money, if they like the idea, they like the deal, they're going to invest it and blah, blah, blah. But you also take their opinion and their trail of always thinking that they're the show and you're not, and that there's conflictions because you deal with egos, and keeping these people and everybody in the partnership in harmony is so important. So as an attorney, you can draw up all the agreements.
Don't hold that against me, Felix.
What's that?
Don't hold that against me, man.
I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Matter of fact, when I read your bio and became friends, I like the fact that you studied law, because, you need to have that muscle. You need to have that muscle in situations like this. But I'm more impressed with how you're just developing it and branding it and just doing whatever you can to find good people. Who would be a candidate if I had millions and you were in front of me and you were explaining to me what you do, and that I was a potential prospective buyer of a racehorse? How would you start it off, Mr. Attorney?
Oh man, that's a loaded question.
It is a load, but we're live.
You alluded to a number of really pertinent points. We are full service. So you start at the top and you say, okay, you've got an interest in owning racehorses, right? First and foremost, I've got to state this with absolute certainty. It's got to be discretionary funds that you're using for this. It cannot be, you're relying on a horse to earn purse money, or else you're not going to be able to make your mortgage payment. This is fun, luxury, dispensable income that you've got to devote towards it. Because as much as we try our best to make you money and create an asset for you, you have to look at it as entertainment value. And if you want to tap into our expertise as it relates to identifying, acquiring, managing, developing, and winning at the grade 1 level at the best racetracks all throughout the country, and you want it done in what we hope is a classy manner, you'd be a good fit for us. That's what we try to do, is surround ourselves with good people that handle their business, not just with inherent talent, but with integrity. And that's the type of partner that Eclipse attracts as well. So if you can appreciate that and understand that that's the way we're going to roll, we'll welcome you with open arms. Look, partnerships are not for everybody. Not everybody has the personality or the makeup to be able to accept a somewhat passive role when it comes to the management of a business, or in this case, a living, breathing animal, that very few of us have control over, if anybody. So it really boils down to, and you touched on it a little bit, Felix, is trust. I can't guarantee that you're going to win races or that you're going to make money. What I can guarantee is that you're going to be told the truth and you're going to have transparency every step of the way. Communication is one of the most important components of a harmonious and a successful partnership, in my opinion. And we really take a lot of pride in providing our partners with up-to-date information, total transparency at an expert level. This is not your fraternity type level, let's all go out and have beers and enjoy the races. We're trying to operate in a sophisticated manner, provide you with a sophisticated experience, all the while doing it with class and integrity. And we've been very fortunate that the horses have performed at a very high level for us, and they're our best source of advertisement. When those Eclipse Silks streak across the wire in a big race on TVG or on NBC, that's our best advertisement, and that's what inspires people to pick up the phone. But it's really all about the partners, and all we try to do is deliver the type of results that they deserve, because it's their hard-earned money that they're putting up, and we really respect that.
Well, you touched on a very important part. I've been in the business for a long time around thoroughbred horse racing, broadcasting, interviewing, doing radio shows, trying to promote this sport. I've met some wonderful people through this industry. I mean, they're lifelong friends. I just got like 3 or 4 calls today from friends that I haven't heard from a long time, from out of state, and all. It was really funny. I met them all through thoroughbred horse racing. So, you have a lot of good people, and you talked about trust and communication. I think is the most important thing. And I'll go back to a conversation that a friend shared with me. He said, "I have 8 horses," and I say, "You do?" And he says, "Yeah." And he says, "Here's your trainer," and he tells me who his trainer is. I said, "Oh, great." I go, "Well, when are you running next?" And he says to me, "I don't know. He never tells me." And I go, "Well, you're kidding me." He goes, "No." I go, "Wait a minute. You're paying this guy to train your horses, and you have 8 horses with him, and he doesn't send you a text, an email, or any communication at all?" He says, "No." And I couldn't believe it. It's so important because, I think that is the first step of making the relationship work, is that communication. Plus, you have to have some chemistry. Let's face it. There's people that I'm sure that you decided, hey, look, they might have a lot of money to get involved in Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, but for somehow they approached you the wrong way. They were too aggressive, and you kind of felt like, I don't need that. I need that partner that's going to buy into the model that I created.
You're absolutely right. So many things are going through my mind as you're talking, quite frankly, because there's so many variables involved in a successful partnership. My dad taught me when I was a very little boy, this is not a game made for men who wear short pants. And, as I manage 80 some odd horses, during certain parts of the year will be up in the 100 range. Those are 100 different partnerships that we've got to communicate with. Unfortunately, the nature of the beast is that I'm delivering bad news way more than I'm delivering good news. And you've got to be able to take that. And you've got to accept that you got to pay your dues in this game. You can't buy success. And, Hall of Famers are winning at a 20% clip. What that means is that every 10 times you go out to the racetrack to watch your horse run, if you're doing the best of the best, 8 of those 10 times you're walking out of the racetrack a quote unquote loser. So, guys that usually have the wherewithal to be able to participate in this game from a financial perspective, they're used to winning. They're used to being successful at their business, their day job, whatever put them in a position to be able to afford owning racehorses. But you've got to adopt an entirely different psychology when you do get into the sport, because you're going to have to accept that even the best of the best only win 2.5 times out of every 10.
Okay, so let me stop you right there. So, but the real, grand slam of the equation is that if you find the right horse, and that's what your mindset is, finding the superstar that's going to provide residual income down the road with breeding and winning grade 1 races. Now, the dumbass partners, here's where they struck for the grandest of all, where they bred a horse, Lucky Pulpit, to a mare that won 1 race in her lifetime that you could have purchased for $10,000, and California Chrome was the byproduct. So it's not necessarily winning races. And I know that you're in there to win races, but if you can find that Michael Jordan, if you can find that Larry Bird, that Shaquille O'Neal, that Franco Harris, then, it adds to what you're doing. So there's a trickle-down effect.
That's a great point. And I say this all the time. Some of my cliches are, this is not a game made for men who wear short pants. This is the ultimate "what have you done for me lately" game. And I firmly believe that anybody can catch lightning in a bottle in this game. Do it once, good for you. What really separates the men from the boys is the ability to do it year in and year out. Go out there, go to the sales, find horses privately that are going to win grade 1s for you every year on a consistent basis.
So let me ask you this. As we're running out of time, we want to go ahead and get it into, where can people reach you? Give out your contact information. Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners. We're going to send this out virally, and I would suggest anybody who has an interest, wants more information, there's nobody better, ladies and gentlemen. Respect, integrity, character, just an expert on just being there and communicating. Give your contact information if you would be so kind.
Sure. No, I appreciate that, Felix. I encourage everybody to do your homework. You got to go into this with your eyes wide open. Our website at Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners is www.eclipsetbpartners.com. But go out there and, compare us to the competition. There's a lot of good partnership companies out there. I encourage you to do your homework, talk to partners, talk to the principals. You got to find the right fit. But you could go onto our website, eclipsetbpartners.com. There's a wealth of information there. My contact information is there. We've got Jack Sadler's contact information. He was Cott Campbell's right-hand man for decades. Jacob West, who's a rising star in the industry. Anybody on our team that you want to contact is more than willing to help you out. Even if you don't end up deciding to become an Eclipse partner, we can try to help you, point you in the right direction, and fulfill your desires in this industry.
Yeah, we'll invite you to our Christmas party too. Okay, I mean, just reach out to Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, because we're gonna need to have a party after all this is over, a very big one. It could start as early as Saturday. That would be perfect for us to celebrate some great situations that would be developed for Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, Robert and Kathleen Verratti, as well as Twin Creeks, among all the other Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners. I would love to meet them all. I really would, because I'm sure if there's any indication of what you've built, your team, the quality of the people, then they're top shelf. And you're only as good as your team. Let's face it. We have 1 minute left. You want to shout out to your daughter who celebrated a birthday yesterday?
Yeah, thanks. We're all indoors right now, so I'm working out of the home office, but my daughter Sadie just turned 12, so can't believe it. But she's a young lady now, and we're all just trying to cope with crazy times out there in the world. My son Jack is 7, and my wife Talia, we're all here trying to make the best of a bad situation. And I hope that everybody out there listening, watching, what have you, is staying safe and being healthy. And look, you touched upon it, but we're a really resilient industry. And we're seeing it now more so than ever. When everybody else is shut down and closing their doors, we're open for business, and we're fighting the good fight, and we're trying to provide people with the thrills and the entertainment. And hopefully we can keep rocking on.
Aron Wellman, president of Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners. Happy birthday, Sadie. We'll catch up with you real soon, Aron. Thank you so much. Wade Taylor, producing and directing. I'm Felix Taverna. Have yourself a great day. Win the day. That's the most important thing. Win the day. We'll try to get through tomorrow when tomorrow comes. Win the day.